What's up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music for the first time as a musician myself, and today is the debut of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And what's up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music for the first time as a musician myself, and today is the debut of this game called the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, requested by Happy Bell. We have a Nerevar Rising, which I guess is the title theme. Yes. And also The Road Most Traveled from the channel Retrospective, composed by Jeremy Soule. Yeah. I feel like I've done an Elder Scrolls before. I don't remember which one, but I feel like I've done one of them. But Jeremy Soule sounds familiar. Okay. Well, cool. This is Morrowind. There's also no more requests for this game, it's just this one. So, Nerevar Rising. I have a feeling this is gonna get nostalgic. Title screens are always, That's nostalgic for me. Okay, I've heard Elder Scrolls before. Da-da-da. Wow, I was not expecting to hear that again. This is actually one of my more popular videos. This is, what's it called? Is it Dragonborn? Dragon something. I'll look it up in a second. I'll explain later if you haven't seen that video. Oh, so is this an Elder Scrolls motif then? I gotta look up my own channel. Why do I feel like some people are crying listening to this? Let me know if you shed a tear. The tiniest tear. I heard Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Dragonborn. That was right. Damn, that's 130,000 views. I never checked my counts. Damn. 130. That was 2 years ago. Oh, wow. This is interesting. I was expecting this. So, I will admit, I'm probably going to say the exact same thing I thought when I heard Dragonborn. So the very first time I heard anything relating to this series was 2 years ago with the Elder Scrolls 5. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if that was the first time, but I think it was. And I heard Dragonborn. That's a lot of views for me. And I remember specifically in that song, still to this day I feel this way, I actually have a chance to redeem myself. Because in that video I heard a very familiar motif, and to me it was the theme of Noctis, Lucis Kylon from Final Fantasy 15, which is Yoko Shimura. They sound so similar. Like I'm talking like the whole, like the first couple bars are the same. Da 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 da, but then it changes. Now, when I heard that, I said this reminds me of FF15. But a lot of people, forget that I may have not had the same background as them. I'm saying that's what it reminded me because that's what I know. Of course, I know now that 15 came after, but I still, I'm here. I heard that one first. So I'm now quite aware, to my knowledge, that that motif pretty much originates here. It probably, if we're being technical, this probably existed maybe even 1,000 years ago. It's not that complicated to come up with like, just go up the scale a little bit, but that's for another day. But it's really cool though. I didn't think that I would hear it again in what I'm guessing is an older game, right? V is 5, 3 is 3. So I'm not sure how the Elder Scrolls works. I'm not sure how far back it goes. But what it sounds like to me, it's like it's the Elder Scrolls is like the kind of parent one, and then everything underneath is like the sub game. So we have Skyrim, Morrowind. I'm pretty sure there's another really popular one, but I can't think of it right now. But when the first one came out, was it just a new IP, or was it based off of something else? And how many Elder Scrolls are there? So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's really cool, and I'm guessing that is a main motif of the series, or let me know if it debuted here. But it gave me the same feeling as Dragonborn, which is cool. It's really cool. It feels really nostalgic. That's it. That's the title screen. Let's move on to the road most traveled. So technically this would be the, unless it's the same motif again, this would be the, I guess, second. I'm going to count the first one as kind of hearing it again, because it's very similar to Dragonborn. So if this one's different, then it'll be the second time I hear like a Elder Scrolls song, if that makes any sense. This is the road most traveled. Has a very adventurous, boisterous sound. Like we're heading into the horizon or something. Actually, now that I think about it, let me see if I've ever reacted to anything else besides Dragonborn. Nope. Oh, I heard Secunda. That was a great song. Okay, so I've only heard Skyrim 2 times, so that's it. So yeah, this is the second time. This is the third song I hear, but the second game I've heard from the series. How long is the song? Are the songs in this game more like atmospheric cinematic stuff? Because it feels like it. It feels like this is more of like a movie than a game. Definitely more musical than a movie would. There's one thing that's really striking my curiosity, and it's the track number on this. 6. 6? It's quite early. Is this like an opening cinematic? You know what I noticed Jeremy Soule is very good at? It's this kind of mini melody. Like right now we just heard dun 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 dun. And then it's like blanketed with like ambience around it. Secunda I think goes the same way too. I love that song, by the way. I can feel there's like this presence with the Elder Scrolls. And what I mean by that is when I was growing up, just in case this is your first video watching of mine, I don't ever want to give the impression that like I am some YouTuber who like has never heard of video games and then just started listening to the music. I definitely grew up with games and played like quite a bit of them, but there was a whole world of games that I never experienced. That's the whole premise of this channel, right? I grew up with, for example, the Sega Genesis, the PS1, 2. I got a 3 way later, 4 way later. and I had a Game Boy Color, and that was kind of the extent, and I guess PC. And then as I went through my teens, I just kind of like drifted off to other hobbies like the guitar and other stuff. But I always like grew up alongside of it. It always like stuck around me, and it was kind of growing parallel to it. That's why stuff like Nintendo and all those other consoles I never played are like all completely foreign to me. But there's also a lot of these games that I always heard about. I don't think I've ever heard of Morrowind, but I've definitely heard of Elder Scrolls and Skyrim because I had friends that were into it. Or I should say like acquaintances that I knew that like they would talk about Skyrim. I remember Skyrim being like a big deal. Like it was on posters everywhere. I just remember it was like a big deal. So I'm not sure which is the more popular one of the Elder Scrolls, but what I'm getting at is that it just feels like there's this like historical video game presence here. Now, I listen to everything on this channel, from songs that, or from games that no one has heard about, games from like the 80s on the Commodore to AAA to, you know, whatever. It's just video game music. But sometimes I feel that presence of like, oh, this is gonna have a lot of people like bringing back memories. I remember when I did Skyrim and Dragonborn, the comments were filled with people like, oh, I still remember coming home and, you know, not doing homework or whatever, or me and my brother used to play before, you know, just like really sentimental things, which to me is like some of the best comments I ever can get. You know, bringing back those memories. At the end of the day, the thing that keeps me going on these is those comments of like those memories and like you growing up alongside of it and then wanting to share these songs with someone. And I actually just got a comment the other day on my Patreon, which I thought was really lovely. And it's something that I always knew, but I never like had the words for it. And I still probably don't, but I think you can kind of understand what I'm getting at. And I think the reason why people watch me, without sounding like I'm selling my channel, but I think what it is, and I thought this subconsciously too, is that you've kind of always wanted to share these songs with people and like just watch how they react to it as if you were sharing it to them in person, kind of thing, you know? As opposed to maybe a Let's Play where they're kind of not paying attention or talking over it or talking to chat or what have you, right? For me, even when I do Let's Plays, I'm pretty much always paying attention to the songs as much as I can. But especially here, like when I'm doing the auditorium stuff here, I take this very seriously because these songs have been waiting forever. People have been waiting for such a long time to share this with someone, and you know, that's me. So I don't know, I'm just taking this time to kind of like appreciate that because I have a feeling this video is gonna be watched by a lot of people. If that many people saw, for me that's a lot, you know. 133,000 is a lot. I never look at numbers. Numbers stress me out, and I'm very unhealthy as a YouTube person. But in 2 years, 130,000 views is a lot. So that tells me, I mean, just think of that. For example, if you were in a classroom filled to the brim, that'd be like 30 people, 20, 30 people. That's a lot of, that's a lot of feelings. Now imagine 133,000. It's not a flex, it's like a perspective thing. So it's making me feel like, ooh, I feel like this video has just turned on a bunch of nostalgia brain cells and fired off all these neurons of, man, video game music really is special kind of thing. So that's what I got from these two songs. It didn't really give me like a setting or, you know, a vision of any kind. It was just more like, oh man, I feel like this is gonna be an important one. So cool. That's all I really got. That's my reaction. That's what I got. So let me know more about the Elder Scrolls and Morrowind and whatever. By the way, just as a cheap plug to myself, the reason I heard Secunda was because I was doing a sub-series called VGM Vibes, where I was talking about snow themes in video games, and that one was chosen. And I actually got a guest cameo for that. That was Austin Lee Matthews, who's the voice of Roche in Final Fantasy Remake and Rebirth. He talked about that song, so I thought that was kind of cool. So, small world. If you're interested in that, it's VGM Vibes. 6, I think, the snow episode. So yeah, anyways, cool. That's all. That is the debut and finale of Morrowind. Thank you to Happy Bell. Thank you to everyone you see on screen. I couldn't be here without them. Thank you for listening to me rant about whatever. My name is Jesse. Have a good day.